Hello, hello.
Hey, what's going on?
Good, how are y'all? Good?
Hanging in there. So, first day of practice, man. What are your thoughts on how it looked and the way things are going?
Yeah, I mean, I thought the day one energy was good, effort was good, not as clean as you would like, and thought these guys have had enough time this summer to be prepared. I mean, it was super simple on both sides as far as the installation part of it, but I thought too many busts, quite frankly, for us going through a spring and then a summer, and coming out here first day, just some sloppy plays, and even by players that have been around here the whole entire time, and just some bonehead things. So yeah, we'll go back, we'll grade it, but effort A plus, execution, probably a C today.
Is that just the key part of it? Is the effort early on in practice like this?
Yeah, I mean, I think you want to be able to put it all together. Quite frankly, I'm a little bit disappointed in the fact we weren't a little bit sharper, even in our group settings where we weren't even going against each other. Haven't had a chance to fully talk to Coach Capone and see how their indie periods were and their group periods were. But offensively, I know it really showed that we weren't mentally focused. And sometimes, they get a little giddy. They're out here the first day. They're super excited. But definitely we've got to clean that part of it up.
Got a lot of work to do this fall with this camp, with it being your guys' first camp and all that.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, every coach in America, if they're not telling you that right now, then they're way ahead of where we are right now as a program and a football team. And so, I think starting back with the basics on a bunch of different things, fundamentals will be a huge key for us to be able to go out and to just, we're going to have to be a super intellectual football team. Like, we got to get smarter and be able to, when you got smart players out there, it frees them up and they're able to play fast and pull the trigger and not hesitate. And so that'll be one of the key points, over the course of the next couple of weeks is for these guys to understand and be smart football players.
Coach, you talked about at conference media days how Mason Richards, a guy who played Texas high school football, transferred out of state, and then now back in Texas for college. And then Ridge, we were just talking to him, he's another guy like that. You have multiple guys like that on the roster. What's kind of the importance of the transfer portal in that regards of guys getting to come back to Texas?
Yeah, I mean, I think there's a bunch of positive sides of the transfer portal. I do. One thing I don't like is I think it gives everybody an easy out at times. But those are examples that they went off. They maybe were overlooked, under-recruited, developed at a later age, and they deserved, to come up and play a bigger brand of football. And so this was the first day I've got to see Mason live and in action. And he made a couple plays out there coming off the edge where, I kind of had to do a double take, like, who was that coming off the edge? So super excited. And Ridge is just consistent. Like, Ridge, the day he's gotten here, I mean, he's put in the extra work. You see he brings the same attitude, the same mentality, and he produces every single day. So, two big-time leaders on our squad that, have taken the portal, used it for the right reason, and have made the most.
Were there any other guys like that, like Mason, where he comes off the edge and really shocks you? Were there any other standouts like that today?
I thought there's a couple good rushes coming off, and two, I'm a guy right now, I'm trying to learn all their numbers right now, and so I'm a big name guy. And so as we go back and watch that film, there will be a lot of questions where I'm writing down notes on number to name recognition. And so yeah, just all in all, I thought the defensive line had a pretty good day and were disruptive in there.
I wanted to ask you about the running back room. Very deep. Kind of got four guys there with extensive experience. Just how much of an advantage is that?
Huge advantage. I tell you, the biggest thing for us is getting those guys to the game healthy. And all four of them have, at some point in their career, suffered a major injury. And so for us right now, we understand, but there's going to be a little bit different, sense of monitoring that room as far as these guys have been through training camps, they've been through off seasons, they've played a lot of ball, they produce at a high level on the field, and we got to make sure that we get those horses through the game and that they're in shape at the same time. So it'll be a balancing act by Coach Cobbs, but I think definitely those four guys, will get some vet treatment at times.
Kind of asking them to do some new things in your offense. How do you think they're adjusting?
Yeah, I think well. Obviously we like to get the running back the ball in different ways, and I think there's a couple of them already that had extremely natural ball skills and could catch the ball out of the backfield extremely well, and there's some that have really worked on it over the course of this summer. And so I'm more of a touches guy as opposed to how we're getting it. So we'll chart all their touches and make sure that we're getting playmakers the ball in space.
You're playing a West Coast team right off the bat, and it's so hot out here. Is that something that you guys are hoping to take advantage of and get your guys acclimated to before you play a team like Cal?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, the weather is a huge part of football, and I think you see it from the NFL all the way down. And for us to be able to practice, in this heat over the course of the next month, I think it's a huge advantage for us. And so we'll spend time outside. We'll spend time outside in the afternoon just so we can get acclimated to the weather. And same thing, you just have to know wherever you're playing. And the same thing, I was at Washington State last year, and late in the season, we have Arizona State travel up there, and it's 12 degrees and sleeting outside. They're not very accustomed to that weather, and it makes it tough. So I think obviously it's an advantage, but we got to be tough enough to handle it and make it an advantage for us too.
Did you see that at Washington State when you're up there, where you took your guys into maybe a hot environment? Did it impact you guys when you were up there?
Yeah, and we tried to adjust to it best we can. I mean, we tried to, turn up a little heat, do the indoor the whole week, and be able to put yourself in that environment. But it's never the same as what you're going to get outdoors on game day. And so same thing. I mean, Justin Wilcox is a super smart guy. He's been a great football coach for a long time. And so he'll have something that'll attempt to try to mock the weather out here. But I've been in those situations. It's just extremely tough to actually pull that off.
Why is it so? You've talked about how you hired almost Matt Capone because what he did at Iowa State, and the 3-3-5 is a defense that's really tough to game plan against. Or why is it so hard to game plan against?
Yeah, I think just they're in different spaces than you're accustomed to, and I think where they're lined up. I think it makes it tough for offenses to be targeted the right way. Both in protection and targeted the right way in your run game. And where they're all spaced out, they can pull the trigger with multiple guys, and so it's hard to get O-linemen, hard to get their eyes right and be focused on the right guys. So I just think there's multiple people that can fit certain gaps, and that makes it tough for us to know who it's going to be.
How is that going to benefit you as a coach, offensive style coach, and your offense though going up against it every day?
Yeah, I tell you the tough thing is just we see it every day. We want to do good on good, but at some point, offensively, we need to see, a little bit more of a base style defense. So, that's a little bit tougher. We're going to do a little bit more scout work just to get that work in for the offense. And then vice versa, same thing for them. They're going to need to see some 12 personnel, some 13 personnel with some heavier tight ends. So we got to know what our weaknesses are and make sure we can address that throughout camp.
Anything else?
I'm good.
Perfect. Thanks, guys.
Thank you, Coach.